Welcome, Leo, to your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 26th of February for the Sun or the Ascendant. That big connection that occurred between Venus and Mars last week on the 22nd is still playing out this week. They're still in touch with one another, putting a lot of emphasis on how you relate to people. But because Jupiter met with Venus at the end of last week, and that's in a much more visible part of your situation, perhaps to do with worldly connections, and then Jupiter and Mars meet in the same way, a square on Tuesday of this week. If you are interacting with anyone professionally, your enthusiasm, but also your personality power, are likely to come across in a very potent way. But even if that is so, the collection of energy on Wednesday is quite complex in the sign of Pisces. That's a much deeper area. The 8th house is about transformations. It can be about more psychological issues, but it also can be about things that are in a state of change, and shared finances, and where you're most intimately invested with somebody else. So whether it is to do with who you bank with, a business matter, something to do with your pension or your mortgage, or it is more to do with a personal relationship, as the Sun meets with Mercury and then with Saturn in two Cazimis on Wednesday, it's really quite a rare event on the same day. That suggests there may be something you really have to look at that is potentially a bit sensitive. But if you can grapple with this, then actually it can help to liberate you, because it may be something that's a little bit delicate. It may be something that requires diving down deep into. It may be something that requires a little bit of confrontation, but that confrontation may be with yourself in terms of your own reluctance to go through something that may be a bit awkward. So for example, it could be about ringing somebody and finding out exactly where the financial position is for you, and arranging some kind of payment plan, or setting up some kind of insurance policy, the type of things that aren't really very sexy. But equally, if you have to discuss something where someone else's collaboration and cooperation is involved, that's where it may require some diplomacy and delicacy. But that's where Venus can continue to help you. In fact, by the end of this week, the quarter moon is in the really bubbly 5th house for you. And that could see you in the mood to be a little bit freer and easier in terms of your social interactions over the weekend. But if there is a situation, whether it is a close involvement, a friendship, where you do feel that there's some politics or some leverage, someone's a bit clingy, or maybe there's some jealousy, then that could actually be a little bit oppressive to you. And that's really that energy in the 8th house. It may see you have to work through something that's a little bit awkward, but if you can, the fact that Jupiter is so supportive this week suggests that some kind of outcome can be to your benefit, as long as you patiently go through the processes. It's been a pleasure being with you. Thank you so much for joining me. I'd be honoured if you would subscribe. Also, if you'd like to ascend above this zodiac forecast and embrace the power of more serious astrology, if you give me 3 pieces of your birth data of time, date and place, or date and place, I can produce for you your life roadmap report. This will give you searing insights into the patterns that are played out in your life so far. You can get a much more intimate understanding of how these have affected your situation, but how you can work with them more effectively going forwards. In my special package of 30% off, you also get your 12 months transit. That's the moving planets in the sky interacting with your totally unique personal blueprint. Please see the link below for more.